This is Bob Planquet from Xeno-canto, and it's my first video trying to explain to you a little bit of the new features that we've just opened up. We're still in the testing phase at the moment, so whatever I'm trying to show you today is not going to be available straight away, but let's see if the code that we made is good enough so that we can make it public to all of you. So the point is that I want to make is that you can now start to upload annotations of sounds to Xeno-canto. So one of the things that you'll see here, if you're logged in, is that you can upload sounds, but you can also upload annotations. Now, rather than just doing that, let me first show you what I mean by one of these annotations. So I've just done one for this lemur that Frank Lambert has just uploaded. Here you go, from Madagascar. And if I click on one of these sonograms, so if you're logged in, then maybe you see this view, but I always put it in sonogram view so that you see it like this. And which is something you can change in your settings, by the way, but I might show that a little later. So if I click on one of these things, I get what the new sonograms, the new spectrograms that we've just set up, and these are interactive, so I can play this. There you go. And you can swipe it, and I can also change a few things. So this is another video, as in some of the other sites, but it's really an interactive little applet. So I can zoom in and out like this, so make the time axis scale a little bit, so I can see more or less of the recording. I can change the color scheme from black and white, which is what we usually show, to this more fancy colored scheme. And I can, in this case, I have these annotations over here. And I can click on one of these things to get a bit of detail. In this case, that it belongs to this annotation set. Apparently this species can be heard. I was the one who did the annotation. It belonged to this recording, and so on and so forth. A couple of these things. Start time, end time, frequency range, and so on. And I can do that for all of these things. And also at the bottom here, you can see that you have these different annotations. In this case, they're all the same species. But if I click on one of these, the recording actually skips to precisely that point in the recording, and I can listen to it. And some of these might get rather busy at some point, so maybe you don't like having all these labels in view, so you can actually click on this button here on the right so that the names appear and disappear. All right, so this, of course, didn't come with the recording. The annotation was done by me in this case, but we hope that everyone will be able to do this. So let's see how this is done. Let me take a different recording than this one. So let me just go back and just take, I have no idea. So maybe something that is a bit easy. Let's browse down. And maybe this one, it has nice isolated things. So I'm going to download the recording over here. So now I have it downloaded on my laptop, and I'm going to go to a tool which has just been developed by Nashant Bhagwat. I hope I'm pronouncing his name well. And several of these tools are currently in the making, but this one is already good enough to be used, and it's called Spectrolipi. Here we go. And I will choose this file. And here we go. Now we've loaded it into this file. And because this file actually came from Xeno-canto, a couple of things are already done. So if I go over here and I go to the metadata, then you'll notice that over here there's actually the Xeno-canto number. This is probably filled out because I've already done it once, and so is this. I'll show you where these kind of things come from, and this was also filled out. So I'm going to make a little set of annotations which just belongs to this recording, and that's why this annotation set name has been filled out for this particular recording. In principle, we do allow larger sets of multiple recordings, but not if you annotate them one by one with this tool. Okay, you can fill out a lot of things, but I currently don't do this yet. The other thing you should know is that there's a bit of integration, and you have to get this stuff right. So there is an API key that you have to set, the name that's going to be displayed with the annotation, your Xeno-canto ID. I'll show you how to find that. And over here you will have the API endpoint. So this is probably filled out if you just open this up. The other things won't be. So let me show you how you fill those out. I go back to Xeno-canto. I go to my account. And there's my key over here. I'm going to change it after I've made this video, but here I've copied it. And now I go to Spectrolipi and I paste it. Of course, it's going to be the same. So where does this come from? Well, this is if you have recordings on Xeno-canto. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult to find. We have to change that. So if I go to my recordings, so searching on the recordist Planquet, my last name, I'll find a few of these recordings. Here we go. Not too many. And if I now click on my own name, I get to my recordist overview page. And here at the top, you'll see that this is my ID, which is this unique 10-letter thing. Generally, I happen to have some numbers, but mostly it's just 10 letters. And that's the part that you copy into the settings that were down here. Right? I'll copy that down here. Okay, so having said all that, saved it. And now I'm going to annotate this recording. So this was a Townsend warbler. And I can click here on the 3 different things. So either I give a scientific name, I give a common name, or I give the eBird acronym, which I personally I don't know those. So I'm going to just use Townsend's warbler. And here we go. So now whatever box I draw on this will give me that name. And if I want to do a different name, I'll just have to change the name and then draw different boxes. So I have create box, and I'll just draw a box over here. I don't know anything about Townsend's warbler myself, so I don't particularly know how good this annotation is and whether these little bits over here actually belong to this species or not. I might add that this is a song, which is probably good. The other ones might be calls, I don't know. Okay, but you might, because you're more of an expert on this. And so if I wanted to, for instance, say that I also have a blackbird, a choppy blackbird, let's say, whatever, I can maybe say that that's a little call. And now you notice that a new box is put over here with a different species, and now I might say that this is a call. Okay, I'm going to delete that because it's not true. Here we go, delete row. So I now have a very, very simple annotation of this recording. Maybe there's a little bit else. Let's go. Okay, so I have to put this one to Townsend's number, Townsend's warbler again. And maybe now my box is like this. Okay. And there's another one over here. All right. And that was all the instances of this thing. This app is actually a little cleverer than what I'm showing you right now. I'm just drawing a few boxes. It actually can do some automated things as well, but I'm not showing that right now. So now I would like to upload this to Xeno-canto, so I'm just checking whether I've done everything correct. All the species are correct. I notice that this song is still missing, so let me put it over here. And then I put that upload. Now it says upload completed, successfully uploaded the annotation set. It gives me a name, which I'm not going to be paying too much attention to because I'm going to go directly to Xeno-canto to import it. So I'm doing this close. Now I go over here. I go to my account, and now at the bottom there's an annotation set, and these are the ones which are already imported, but this is a new one. This set has been uploaded, and if I click on it, it's going to be validated to see if everything's all right. It gives me a couple of warnings. There's no license. There's a couple of fields which are in whatever Spectrolipi is giving me, but we don't use it ourselves at the moment, so they will be ignored. And so if I import this now it gets to the bottom of this list, and if I click on it, I will get my annotation actually as it is imported, and you see some of the things that I've supplied are actually written here. So this is my ID, and it actually gets a standard license, which is the one we'll be using for all the annotations. When I made this, it creates, so these individual annotations are over here. I was the one that doing it. There are some start and end times and so on and so forth. If I click on this recording number again, I go to the page. Here we go. And if I click on this now, you'll notice that my annotations that I've just made are actually imported into Xeno-canto. And here we go. And someone else might actually add other annotations to it as well. And then this recording will be richer in its annotations. All right, so Manuel Grosselet now has one recording of his that is annotated. If you want to export this, you can go down here and ask for download the annotations for this recording. So it actually gives me a JSON file over here. So if I go to an editor, which probably opens all kinds of other things that I'm busy with, doesn't matter. Here we go. This is the JSON, so this is a machine readable data that contains all the information that comes with this recording. So you can use that in for training algorithms or whatnot. Or if you simply wanted to analyze all these different annotations for different recordings. What else did I want to show you? You can search on these annotations. So if we've introduced a number of these different annotation tags, which are only available from this search button. So if I do annotation yes, I'll get all the recordings that are annotated. And one of those, if I have a look, is my Townsend warbler that I just did. So it has just been added. And all right, so I've done a couple of other ones, and so has Willem Pier, but we're just starting to do this at the moment. If I want to search on a species, I can of course do that as well. So I can, for instance, look for something, so a genus that has Serpophaga, and now I get nothing, so I probably did it wrong. Cetophaga is the name. No space. Here we go, and indeed this is the recording that has been annotated with this thing in it. If I do, for instance, this tinamou species from South America, you actually notice that it has been annotated on a recording of a tapaculo, but that's in the background. So indeed, if I go to this recording, then these are the tapaculo. Let me zoom out a little bit, but you'll see that I've, in this case, also annotated these tinamous, which are continuously singing throughout this recording. So if we all start doing this, it should make it a lot easier to figure out what's what on all of these recordings. That should be very helpful. So what is possible and what is not possible is down here at the tips. So I'm now clicking on this rather than just looking at this drop-down menu. So if I click on this and I go all the way down, then you'll notice that here at the bottom there's a bit on annotation search tags. So the annotation annotator tag can be used to find the things that you or someone else has annotated. You can look at frequency high, frequency low, so bounding boxes. and genus, species, subspecies. At some point, people will also be able to add sound types, sexes, so male, female, and stage of life stages, so juvenile, adult, and so on, or any other remarks. So I didn't check, but my song should be in the remarks somewhere. So let's check that. I didn't test this. Hey ho, it works. So the fact that I've detailed that my recordings were songs were actually not in the song type, which is where they should be, but Spectrolipi is not there yet. But they did appear in these remarks. So if I take one of those, then here my remark indeed was that it was a song. Okay. So this is essentially where we are at the moment. This is a feature that is currently invite only because we haven't completely stress tested it. So if you want to try it out, then drop us a line and we can give you some access, and then you can try to do this and see if you can break it or if you can make it work. So Spectrolipi works like this, as I've shown you. Bird Sounds Global, which is a Finnish initiative, is also readying this type of annotating in their app. The Bat Conservation Trust in Britain is making one of these apps, and Raven from Cornell is being redesigned and open sourced in order to allow this as well. So we hope that over time we will amass many different annotations of recordings. All right, it was good to speak to you all, and I hope we'll have fun and make this into a nice feature over time.